So we started off 2020 with a partial bang in regards to new cameras coming out. We've heard about the Nikon D780, which, you know, you can have your opinions on. Is it really up to date within 2020? I covered that in my recent preview. But then we also had the Canon 1DX Mark III come out. Once again, whatever you feel about that, and now the 2020 more mirrorless age to an extent. But I had a couple questions about the 1DX Mark III. I used to be a 1DX Mark II owner for a little while, so I guess some people had questions about that, and I decided to open up on Instagram and just say, hey, what kind of questions do you have? And I just wanted to share some of the, goals and trends that some people asked about, and just give some of my take on things. So let's question and answer. As I was saying, one of the main questions I was asked is, what is my reaction to the Canon 1DX Mark III? Why did I sell my 1DX2 and go to Fuji, etc.? And it's a simple answer. I really backed out of doing a lot of weddings and events and pro shooting for a lot of things, and I really wanted to be minimal with my gear. So that's the long short of it. I didn't need it anymore. I really wanted to pare down a lot of the lenses that I had, about the 6 Canon lenses that I owned. And, hey, just get a little bit of moolah back in my old wallet. But that being said, the 1DX line, and same thing if you're in the Nikon D5 and upcoming probably D6, yeah, it's a heavier camera. And yes, it's a dreaded DSLR in 2020, but they are very, very comfortable. The ergonomics are amazing. You have almost every button you need to an extent externalized on the back. So having the 1DX with a, even a heavier lens on it that would usually feel way too front heavy really had a good counterbalance to a lot of stuff. So a lot of people, a lot of shooters trust these things because of the battery life, the functionality, etc. And yeah, it's heavier, but you get over that because it's not that bad, especially if you have it on some kind of strap or something. So I was actually kind of excited when I heard about the 1DX Mark III, and it does have some vast improvements over that as well. Once again, it is not much changing form-wise of it. It's adding a lot more speed when everything packed into this camera, buffering to like 1,000 different photos and everything. One of the cool things is that they added CF Express cards to really take that read-write seriously, especially with the 5.5 60 frame raw video, plus you have your true 4K as well. It's just a lot of power packed into that. And when I was using the 1DX Mark II to do YouTube videos, I saw a clear difference from using an ADD or a 5D Mark IV. The quality is just second to none in that regards. Also being said, besides the improved AF, the face, eye detect, the learning algorithm that it has is, once again, will further prove that it's worth it. And the backlit buttons. You'll be able to see the buttons in any situation. That is phenomenal. Yes, it's $6,500, but if you're inquiring about this, it's not a bad price because that's what the value is, So the Mark III, I'll give it a thumbs up. I don't even really need to look at it, but on paper, pretty cool. So if you want to go from the 1DX Mark II to the 3, I see that being a no-brainer, especially since you can get a lot of money back for that camera. Number 2, what cameras do I expect and want to see in 2020? I do see Sony slowing down for the most part a lot. They did a lot in 2019. What was it? 5 or 6 different new cameras that were, for the most part pretty relevant. So that's insane. But I do expect them to still do at least 1, if not 2 things in 2020. And one of the ones I was thinking is, are we going to finally see the 3-4-year-old requested A7S III? So I'm just going to leave that there, not talk about that as much. But I think we're going to see an A7 Mark IV. Now, the Mark III a couple years ago came out and it pretty much won camera of the year all around. Still huge popular. Dropped a couple $100, so you can still find it at a great price. And really would be able to handle most situations. So I expect to see that from Sony. And then Fuji, I do expect to see... I wouldn't like to see like an X-T4 already, because I still think the 3 is pretty relevant. Added a lot for video as well, but maybe an X-T4. But I do see them upgrading the X100 line and going up to the X100V, as they're going to call it. So that is stuff that I'd want to see. Really don't need anything else, or don't see anything else killer happening. The tech in a lot of these cameras has gotten a little boring over the past few years, so I don't know what's going to come out this year. Hopefully it's kind of a stale year. People use whatever they have, go into next year, and then maybe something cool comes out. But it's really all I got. Nikon kind of did their thing to a camera that needed an update, even though arguably the Z6 and D780 are kind of the same, pretty much the same, and you could save money on the Z6. But Canon's done their thing. They just need more lenses for the line. Other than that, I don't know. Let me hear your thoughts down below. Number 3, what are some of my own goals for photography in 2020? I just have a couple of quick ones, and it's actually print my work. I made a video probably 2 years ago saying print my work. There's nothing on my wall yet. I've just been super out of it in regards to photography. My kind of creativeness and drive has been down a little bit, so that's also another thing. I really want to shoot more this year. I really haven't taken photos since a couple months ago, and that was even from the summer, so I really want to do a bit more and actually care more about what's going into it. And because I've been a little bit bored with the industry and all these cameras and lenses that really aren't huge improvements, that are kind of boring, really haven't been motivated to do a lot of the YouTube videos like I used to. But I'm trying to get back into that. I'm trying to focus in on that and to really care about a lot of this stuff, because it's just been dry and it's nothing like, oh my God, this is amazing. Number 4, and the last quick question, what are some trends that do I expect from the photography, cinematography in 2020? Obviously, as the times go, I do expect more mirrorless movement. We're gonna get the lenses back in the lines more. That's one of the things holding a lot of like Canon, Nikon, etc. back, is they're still starting from scratch for the most part. They're building it up. So that's what I see more going. I see more minimalism, more minimalistic in people's gear, getting only what they need, less lenses, getting specifically what they need for a job. And I know I caught a lot of crud on my why I only use f2.8 video, mainly because people didn't listen and they just reacted to a title. And once again, it was my opinion on why I mainly use f4 actually. You're seeing a lot of people want more versatile lenses like a 24-105 f4, so you're able to use all-in-one and keep your cost and everything down and be a little bit more minimalistic with your gear. I see an influx in photo cloud storage, being able to use the cloud, whatever the cloud is, to send up your photos, to have them backed up. And it's actually a smart idea to do anyway. It's kind of like a safety offsite type of thing in case anything happens to your residence or your business. You have a place for it backed up. The last thing is more increased technology in phones, and that's just a duh, especially what we have with the Samsungs, the Pixels, and the iPhones. So that's what I expect to be the trends for 2020. Thank you so much for watching. I'd like to do these questions and answers and just really have more discussion. I've been interested in more just discussion stuff. I like to cover the gear, but like I said, a lot of the gear is kind of boring now. But a lot of this stuff, questions, answers, discussion topics that come up, and that's covered in our niche here. I like to do that more, so I'm gonna probably try and do more of that, and really just go from there. But what do you think is going to be a trend? What's your goals of 2020? What cameras do you expect or want to see this year, etc.? Let me know down in the comments below. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a discussion. A smart discussion, and we'll go from there. But as till next time, Rossi the guy with the eye. Peace out, man.